to the Death Guard and Tau. So go ahead and start with the Death Guard, Eroded Brotherhood. So Mortarion, see what they give us for some army rules. So army rule, Nurgle's Gift is an aura. If your army faction is Death Guard, while an enemy unit is within contagion range of this unit, subtract 1 from the toughness characteristic of models in that enemy unit. Contagion range changes over the course of battle as shown below. So 3 inches on turn 1, 6 inches on turn 2, 9 inches on turn 3, and onwards. Alright. Nurgle's Gift lists every Death Guard unit with an aura that increases over the course of battle. Enemy units for the toughness range reduced by 1. Alright, so basically, yeah. So right now it's just -1 toughness to within range. I'm sure there will be other things to trigger off of it. Detachment rule, Spread the Sickness. If you control an objective marker at the end of your command phase, and a Death Guard unit from your army is within range of that objective marker is said to be infected and remains under your control even if you have no models within range of it, until your opponent controls it at the start or end of any turn. In addition, while an objective marker is infected and under control, it has the Nurgle's Gift ability as if it were a unit from your army, so any units with a contagion range of it will have their toughness characteristic modified. Alright, so that's nice. So you have to control it at the start or end of any turn. So basically, you sticky it, objective it, move away. They move up on their turn. Oh, I guess, yeah. So then, but then at the start of your end of their turn, it would go away. Alright, so the sticky is nice, but if they just turn it off at the end of a turn, so I was thinking so if you move in range of it on your turn, at the end of your turn it goes away, so going into the Nurgle turn, you're not -1 toughness. So I'm not sure where it's giving off the contagion range for -1 toughness really comes into range. Because if you're in combat with them, they're already in range of your units for the -1 toughness, so the objective giving it would matter. I guess if you could somehow shoot them out of sequence during their turn, or yeah, I really don't see any other way, unless they used rapid ingress to drop on an objective at the end of your movement phase, and I guess you could shoot them. Maybe that's the one thing I can think of. Maybe there's a couple other random. I think most of the time that's really not going to matter, because they're going to turn off the contagion range before you can shoot them. But being able to score it and force them to have to come take it is I think that's the big part of this detachment rule. Alright, and then they're giving us Blightlord Terminators. 4-inch move, T6, 2 up save, 3 wounds, leadership 6, objective control 1. Alright, so really tough, really slow, as is to be expected from Death Guard Terminators. Blight Launcher has lethal hits, so 6 is to hit, will auto wound. 24-inch range, 2 attacks, 3 up to hit, strength 6, -1, 2 damage. Combi weapon is anti-infantry, devastating wounds, rapid fire 1, so 4 ups to wound on infantry will do mortals, 6 up to wound against everything else will do mortals. 24-inch range, 1 attack, 4 up to hit, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage, and it is rapid fire, so at 12 inches you will get 2 shots. Plague Combi Bolter, lethal hits, rapid fire 2, so 6 to hit auto wound, 24-inch range, 4 shots at 12, 2 at 24, hits on 3, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage. Then we got the Plague Spewer, which is anti-infantry 2 up, so critical wounds infantry on 2s. Ignores cover torrent, so ignores, doesn't have to roll to hit. 12-inch range, d6 shots, auto hit, strength 5, -1, 1 damage. Reaper autocannon, devastating wounds, sustain hits 1. So 6 is to hit, will give you an extra hit. 6 is to wound, will do mortal. 36-inch range, strength 4, 3 up to hit. 4 attacks, 3 up to hit, strength 7, -1, 1 damage. Only 1 damage on the autocannon, though. That's... Yeah, I wish that was 2 damage. Then that would be a solid weapon. Bubotic Blades, lethal hits, 4 attacks, 3 up to hit, strength 5, -2, 1 damage. Feel aggressively lit, so both their combat weapons auto wound on 6s. I guess that's basically taking place of the old plague rules. 6 attacks, 3 up to hit, strength 5, negative 1, 2 damage. Alright. So it doesn't like, flail doesn't like bleed over any of the weird stuff it did before. It just lethal hits on 6s and gives you just auto wounds on 6s and gives you a couple more attacks. So they have Deep Strike, they have Nurgle's Gift, and then Blistering Fusillade. Each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack, if it targets the closest eligible enemy, reroll a wound roll of 1. Alright, so if they shoot the closest eligible enemy unit, they're rerolling 1s to wound, and then a 4 up to hit. Or sorry, 4 up invul. 4 up to hit. Alright, and then they're giving us the Malignant Plaguecaster. He's movement 5, T5, 3 up save, 4 wounds, leadership 6, 1 objective control. He's got a Plague Bolt Pistol, lethal hit, so once again, auto wounding on 6s to hit. 12-inch range, 1 attack, 3 up to hit, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage. Plague Wind, so it's a Witchfire, Psychic Torrent, or it could be a Focus Witchfire with Hazardous Psychic Torrent. So both are 12 3 damage on both. It's just if you use the focused one, after you do all the attacks, you roll 1 dice, and then on a 1, or is it a 1 or 2? I think it's just on a 1, he's going to take 3 mortals, which would knock him down to 1 wound. Then he has a Corruptive Staff, lethal hit psychic, so once again, 6 hit auto wound. 4 attacks, 3 up to hit, strength 6, neg 1d3 damage. He's a leader, so he'll be joining units. Gift of Contagion, Psychic. In your shooting phase, you can select one enemy unit within 18 inches of and visible to the Psyker. Roll 1d6. On a 1, the Psyker's unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. On a 2+, until the start of your next shooting phase, Alright, so on a 1, his unit takes d3 mortal wounds. And on a 2 up, the enemy unit has to, if they make a melee attack, subtract 1 from the wound roll. Alright, then Pestilent Fallout, also a Psychic. In your shooting phase, after this model has shot, if one or more of those attacks made with its Plague Wind scored a wounding as an enemy entered a unit, till the start of your next turn, subtract 2 from that unit's move characteristic, and subtract 2 from advance and charge rolls made for that unit. Alright, so if you wound someone with this, not just hit, you have to wound them with this, you subtract 2 from their move and 2 from their advance and charge. Alright, that's pretty solid. You're slow, make them slow. Alright, so that's decent rules there. And then what else do they give us? Weapon Spotlight, Plague Mortar. Blast, indirect, lethal hits. Alright, so extra shots against big units. Indirect, you're going to be giving out cover to the people you're shooting. And then lethal hits, you're auto wounding on 6s. Giving out cover only if you can't see anyone in the unit. 48-inch range, d6 plus 3 shots. 3 up to hit, strength 8, neg 1, 2 damage. So if you're shooting it indirect, it's going to basically be AP 0. In your shooting phase, after the model is shot, if one or more of those attacks made with its Plague Burst Mortar scored a hit against an infantry unit, that infantry unit must take a battle shock test. Oh, that's good. So if you just hit an enemy unit, you're forcing battle shock tests. That is great. You just keep lobbing these at people on objectives, hope they fail, they lose that objective control, and you don't even have to go do anything about it. You're going to take per turn or per phase, but if not, you shoot them with multiple Plague Burst crawlers, you could potentially make them take multiple battle shock tests. We haven't seen anything limiting the number of battle shock tests that we've taken, so we'll see if they have that or not. And then they're giving us some stratagems, saying Sangrious Flux. Fight phase. One Death Guard unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase. Till end of phase, weapons, equipment, models in your unit have the Sustained Hits 1 ability. While units within range of an affected objective marker you control, those weapons have Sustained Hit 2 ability instead. Alright, so basically give one of your units 6s to hit are extra hits, and if they're on an objective, 6s to hit are 2 extra hits. Alright, and it's in the fight phase, so it's on their melee weapons. That's okay. It's decent. So overall, looks like Nurgles will be slow and tough, and bring down your toughness. They're not going to be one of those armies that, boom, does something right out the gate hard, but they're going to be a slow, grind, consistent army, which, I mean, that's how Death Guard have played most of the time. So if you're used to playing Death Guard, you're probably gonna, be used to the playstyle. So they could be good. Not nothing. Once again, this is another one of the ones where there's nothing I thought was amazing, but nothing I thought where it was like super weak. So hopefully right there in the mix. We'll see what's in their indexes, but nothing like I'm super disappointed with in that focus. So let's go ahead and look at the next one. Rolling into the Tau. Let's see what they give us for the greater good. See what they give us for that. For the greater good is their army rule. If your army faction is Tau Empire, then in your shooting phase, units from your army can work in pairs to help each other target specific enemy units. When they do this, one unit is the observer unit and the other is their guided unit. The enemy they are targeting is called their spotted unit. All right, so we got observer, guider, and spotted. All right. Each time you select this unit to shoot, if it is not an observer unit, it can use this ability if it does. Select one other friendly unit with this ability that is also eligible to shoot, excluding fortification, valve, shock, and observer units. To the end of this phase, that unit is considered to be a guided unit, and that friendly unit is considered an observer unit. Now select one enemy unit that is visible to both your units to be their spotted unit. Wow, that's a lot of words. Alright, so basically you pick one of your units, they pick one enemy unit to spot, and they pick one of their own units to guide. And basically they're going to guide that unit shooting. Alright. Till the end of the phase, each time a model a guided unit makes an attack that targets their spotted unit, improve their ballistic skill. Alright. Each time a model a guided unit makes an attack that does not target their spotted unit, worsen the ballistic skills characteristic of the attack by 1. Alright. So basically, yeah, you take one of your units, you pick an enemy unit, and then you pick a unit to guide. The guided unit gets +1 ballistic skill, so basically they're hitting one better. And if the unit that's doing the observing has the marker-like keyword, you get +1 ballistic skill and ignore cover. But if the unit that's getting guided decided to shoot some of their weapons somewhere else, they actually, instead of just shooting regular, worsen their ballistic skill by 1. So there's actually a penalty for not shooting at the unit that you're guided into. Alright, that's interesting. Doesn't trigger till turn 3. All ranged weapons equipped by Tau Empire models from your army have the Sustained Hit 1 ability. While a unit is guided, the weapons that unit have the Sustained Hit 2 ability. Alright, so now if you're getting guided, you get +1 ballistic skill and Sustained Hits 2 if you're being guided, and if they mark light, you'll get ignore cover. Alright, so once again, this is another thing where the rules tie together, kind of getting some consistency between them. But so far, that seems decent. Pathfinders, 7-inch move, toughness 3, 4 up save, 1 wound, leadership 7, objective 1. Drone burst cannon, 18 inches, 4 attacks, ballistic skill 5, strength 5, AP 0, 1 damage. Wow, their ballistic skills are. Oh, that's a drone. Iron rifle has heavy, overcharge has hazardous and heavy. 3-inch range, 3 up to hit, 5 up to 3 attacks, 5 up to hit. If stationary will be 4s. Strength 7, strength 8, -1, -2, 1 damage, 2 damage. So +1 to hit. If you're +1 to hit and guided, you'll be hitting on 3s. Pulse carbine. Although if you're guided and shoot at something not your target and you move, you'll be hitting on 6s. So Pulse Carbine, 20-inch range, 2 attacks, 4 to hit, strength 5, AP 0, 1 damage. Pulse Pistol, 12-inch range, 1 attack, 4 to hit, strength 5, AP 0, 1 damage. Rail Rifle, devastating wounds, so 6s to wound will be mortals. Heavy, so if remain stationary, +1 to hit. 30-inch range, 1 attack, 5 up to hit, strength 10, -4, 3 damage. Semi-automatic grenade launcher EMP, semi-automatic grenade launcher fusion. So this is anti-vehicle 4+ and devastating wounds on the EMP. So 18-inch range, 1 attack, 4 per hit, strength 3 to strength 6, AP 0 to AP 1, 1 damage to 3 damage. Alright, so this has anti-vehicle 4+, but it only does 1 damage. So it's not that impressive. Then melee, they have 1 attack that hits on 5, strength 3, AP 1 damage. So once again, your little Tau guys are not that great in combat, but that's to be expected. Scout 7 inches, so they can do a 7-inch scout pregame. If they're in a Devilfish, you can scout the Devilfish 7 inches, as long as it's only units with the Scout's ability in it. For the greater good, target uploaded. Once per turn, when using the greater good ability, you can select this unit to be observer unit for a second time. When doing so, you can change which enemy unit is this unit's spotted unit. Alright, so that's cool. So you can use Pathfinder team to do your spotting twice. And then they do have the Markerlight keyword, so you get the best buffs you can get. Then warrior abilities: grab inhibitor drone, subtract 2 from charge rolls made for enemy units that declare charge against the bearer's unit, not cumulative with any other reductions to that charge roll. Alright, pulse accelerator drone, at 6 inches the range characteristics of pulse carbines equipped by models in this bearer's unit. So pulse carbine goes to 26 inches. Recon drone, the bearer is equipped with 1 drone burst cannon, and the bearer's unit has the infiltrator's ability. Alright, so let them infiltrate, and then they gain the drone burst cannon. Let's see what we're doing with the drones. Did I tell us anything about this? Alright. So drones. New approach to drones across the board. Instead of individual models, all drones are treated equipment on a model's data sheet, granting new weapons or abilities directly. Alright, so drones are now equipment, not their own little things. Guardian drone. Each time a model makes a ranged attack that targets the bearer's unit, subtract 1 from the wound roll. Gun drone, twin pulse carbine, assault, twin link, so it can advance and shoot, and it rerolls wounds. 20-inch range, 2 attacks, hits on 5, strength 5, AP 1 damage. Marker drone, bearer unit has a marker-like keyword. It can act as a 0 unit for another unit, even in advance this turn. Alright, that's cool. Missile drone, bearer is equipped with the following ranged weapon: missile pod, 30-inch range, 2 attacks, skill 5, strength 7, extra 2 damage. Shield drone, add 1 to the bearer's wound characteristic. Ooh, that's a big change. So they're no longer taking damage for you. They can give you an extra wound, and if you can take multiple shield drones, you can put a bunch of wounds on a guy. And it's not like a bunch of single wounds. So if you give him +3 wounds, but you shoot him with a las cannon that's D6, you roll a 4. Instead of just killing 1 drone, you're killing all 3, basically killing all 3 drones and doing a wound to him. Alright, so yeah, that's a big hit to how drones worked. Then they're giving us railgun, heavy, devastating wounds, 72-inch range, 1 attack, 4 per hit, 3 if you're stationary, 2 if they got a marker light on them. Strength 20, -5, D6 to be turning into mortals. That's pretty good. And then pulse blast cannon, focused and dispersed. So the focus is heavy, so +1 to hit if you're stationary. 24-inch range, 2 attacks, 4 to hit. Strength 24, -6, 12 damage. And then dispersed is also heavy, so +1 if you stay stationary. 40-inch range, 48-inch range, 6 attacks, 4 to hit, strength 10, they do 4 damage. Alright, that's a solid gun. That's going to be on the big guy again. Then they're giving us a stratagem, combat embarkation. Opponent's charge phase just after enemy units declare a charge. 1 Tau infantry unit from your army that was selected as one of the targets of the charge, and 1 friendly transport. Unit can embark within that transport. If it does, your opponent can select new targets for that charge. Restriction. Every model in your Tau Empire infantry unit must be within 3 inches of that transport, and there must be sufficient transport capacity to embark the entire unit. Alright, so you have to position yourself close enough to be planning for this. But yeah, they declare a charge on you, you just hop back in your vehicle. Alright. So I think most of the time, yeah, they might do it just to force you to spend the CP, but if you're within 3 and it's a key unit and they know you have the CP, like, they know what's going to happen. So they might declare it just to force you to spend the CP and get in the transport. But that's not a horrible thing if you want to be in the transport, because the next turn you can move and hop out again. So they might not even declare it because they don't want you to be able to get in. So that'll be interesting. That's something that's going to have to be taken into consideration before declaring charges if you set your units up where they can hop into the transports. I guess you also have to be careful they're not putting the transports close enough that they can get charged by having them close enough to units to do this. Alright, overall, drones seems to have gotten hit, but the rest of it looks pretty good, and with the toning down of damage as they're trying to do, hopefully Tau won't be too hurt by the drop of the drones like that. But for their offense, the rules seem solid. I'm sure anyone who liked the Mon Ca like to go early game with Tau. Probably not going to be happy that they're stuck on third battle round. Probably have to wait for your codex to get the Mon Ca detachment. But overall, I'd say Tau seemed like a pretty solid unit. Some pretty solid units and some cool abilities. You definitely have to work your synergies and plan it out. But if you do, I think it could reward you. All right. Well, that's it for